This is a story about a human mind that is trapped inside of a system that applies constant fear, constant psychological damage to a young man that was only 16. At 16 years old, the human brain is still under construction. The prefrontal cortex, right? The part that's responsible for decision making, all of the good things, right? Emotional regulation, impulse control, and future thinking. It is, but listen now. It's not fully developed. Okay, buddies. So let me tell you what is fully developed at that age, okay, buddies? I'm pretty sure you know this as well. What is fully developed is the fear system. So listen to me now. If I just told you the brain wasn't fully developed, or the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed yet. So when Kalief was arrested, right, buddies? You listen to me. You listen to me. Okay. I got your attention now, I think. If you're still watching as well. When Kalief was arrested, right, at 16, his brain didn't process it as an adult. He processed it as an existential threat. A sudden loss of freedom, bro. A sudden loss of freedom within that over something he didn't do. But I'll get to that in a little bit. A sudden loss of freedom is literally his mindset right now. He's in handcuffs. Obviously, if the police is there, he's in handcuffs surrounded by authority figures with total control at this point. I'm only 2 minutes in, whatever, 2 minutes or something in, but this alone is enough to trigger anyone with acute trauma. Acute trauma. You know what acute stands for? I think you do, but this alone is enough to trigger anyone acute trauma, okay, buddies? But this is only the beginning. It gets a lot scarier. Rikers Island, the notorious prison or jail in New York. Alright, buddies? It is not just a jail there. It's a system that's built on constant threat. Constantly. Even though any jail and prison is built on constant threat, but this one takes it up a notch. Violence is unpredictable. Okay, buddy, you can get stabbed up anywhere. And you know what? Well, it's getting a little sunny outside now. You wanna know one more thing? Authority figures there. Authority is obsolete. It doesn't exist. Your safety here, buddy. Your safety here. Your safety here on Rikers Island is not guaranteed. It's just not. There's no guarantee of survival here. Psychologically, this creates hypervigilance, a state where the brain is always scanning for danger, buddy. Because you never know what happens. You never know where this can come from, where the next fight is gonna happen, where the next breakout is at. This is not about me, but yeah, this creates hypervigilance, or a state of constant fear, basically. You're listening to him? You're back. You're back. Yeah, you're back. I think you're still here. But you don't relax. You don't sleep deeply. Excuse me. Your nervous system never rests. Like, it never takes a break. You're always on edge. And it gets wild in there. It gets very scary in there. You're listening to him? You're back. You're back. Yeah, you're back. I think you're still here. But you don't relax. You don't sleep deeply. Excuse me. Your nervous system never rests. Like, it never takes a break. You're always on edge. And it gets wild in there. It gets very scary in there. For Kalief, this wasn't temporary exposure. This was daily conditioning, man. This is daily. Every day you're waking up. Oh, matter of fact, you don't even know if you're gonna wake up. But this is daily conditioning. It's not a 24 hours. You're just out. You go in there for just a little bit and you come back out. No, it's not that. This was daily. Like, every day, wake up, go to sleep, same shit. It was daily conditioning, bro. And then came the beatings by the inmates and the correctional officers. See, I told you I was gonna get around to it. But here begins the beatings by the inmates and the correctional officers. So when authority becomes the source of the harm, the brain rewires itself between one idea, or around one idea. Okay, buddy. Do you know what the idea is? Pretty sure you know what the idea is. You know what the idea is. You know what the idea is. No one is safe. No one is safe. That's the idea here. Because if you can't even trust, well, I'm black anyway. I don't trust the damn police. But I'm actually going to school for criminal justice, which is wild. But when the authority figures become the source of the pain, your brain rewires itself like, damn it, I can't trust no one here. Solitary confinement, guys. Solitary confinement is not just, a long time or time by yourself without anyone around. It's a lot deeper than that. And let's get into the psychological factor of it. That's what we're gonna tackle first, and then we're gonna go from there. So psychologically, it's a sensory deprivation death. Okay, basically. So what if you guys may not even know what you don't even know what I just said, but I know what I said. So I'm gonna break it down for you if you don't understand what that means by sensory deprivation death. So basically, your senses are in overload. Well, not an overload, but yeah, they are in overload. But they're to the point of where it's like they don't know what to do with themselves. They are just to the point of where, what am I doing here, or what do I do next? It's basically your senses are lost, basically. That's the best way I can sum it up for you. One more thing. I'm pretty sure I talked about this too in like a previous video, but you guys, you'll see it. I think you probably have seen it. If you haven't, it's on here. I think it was last week. No, yeah, because today is what's today's date? Sunday. Today is Sunday, so yeah, it was last week. So it also, like, solitary confinement, as I mentioned, is social deprivation, okay, and like I said, sensory overload. So you don't know what's going on with your senses. Your senses don't know what's going on with that self. But the biggest aspect of it is literally the social deprivation, as I mentioned previously. But if you were never to run into another human again, you would just lose your mind. Like, you would lose yourself. We always have those people that's anti-social, anti-this, but reality, we need at least one more person around, or you would just literally lose yourself. So that's one more aspect of it. Identity erosion, bro. Identity erosion. As I mentioned, like just a few seconds ago, humans are made for connection. Like, they just have to speak to each other or even just see one another. But if you go without that for how long as this guy did, as long as this young man did, he was 16, so he was still guy, man, place, whatever the case may be. But he, let me stop getting ahead of myself. But yeah, just continue to watch, and you will see how long he was just solitary confinement. You will understand. You understand everything. So buddies, as I just mentioned, you need human interaction to survive. At least one person or two people, right? But this guy, Kalief, he spent 800 days in solitary confinement. Do you know what the time of that is? Let's do the math here. 365 days in 1 year is in a year. Yeah. Okay, so you can do the math. But that's how long he spent in solitary confinement, 800 days. Could you go 800 days without seeing anyone or hearing anything? Or having a sense of time? And keep in mind again, well, he went in at 16. 800 days, that's 2 years, it's 2 years he was just in solitary confinement. Wait, am I doing that right? 365. Yeah, I'm right. Not fault. Yeah, I'm right. But yeah, he was there for 800 days, okay, buddies? Could you do it? I know I can do it. No meaning, he struggled with no meaning, as I mentioned before. No human interaction, no meaningful human contact, okay, buddies? No meaningful human interaction. No normal sense of time. So he doesn't even know. I'm pretty sure he probably didn't even know how many days he was in there. Well, no normal sense of time. He's struggling with like literally no feedback to confirm your existence. Okay, buddies. So he doesn't even mentally. He probably didn't even know if he was still alive, which is something terrifying to think about. Like, how do you not know if you're alive? But yeah, nothing confirms his feedback, so he was very unsure. The mind, bro, it starts to turn inward. So it starts to. I don't know if you ever heard this phrase or whatever, but if you don't eat, your body starts eating itself away. So no interaction, you can basically say the same thing about your brain. Your brain starts to fold in on itself. So that's what's going on with this young man here. This stage, buddies. This stage is where we see the paranoia, the hallucinations, let me make sure I'm correct here. So this one bad cut right. The emotional numbness. Okay, buddies, the emotional numbness. When you don't even know where to feel happy, where to feel sad. You don't know any of these things, right? You're just emotionless. We all seen that person before that's just very emotionless. Or talk to someone that's emotionless. It's kind of like, what the hell are we doing here? We're just wasting each other's time. You want to know one thing that's I mean, hey, this is just America. This is America for you. But even former jail officials says that, hey, it creates paranoia and fear of yourself, which is insane. This wasn't punishment for Kalief Browder. This was psychological. Wait, it's gonna be another cut because I want to make sure I'm correct. I want to do this guy a little bit more justice than this. I'm already recording from my phone, which is kind of like just damn, but let me make sure I'm correct here. This wasn't just psychological. Wait, yeah, this was more of psychological destruction. So it's gonna be a cut here again. This was like, I was right. This was psychological destruction applied to a developing mind, a mind of a 16. He was 16, been in there for 800 days, so he has had a birthday, and some more stuff happened to him while he was in there, and his mind was still developing. Let me just give you guys. It's a lot more. It's some more. I'm trying to break these down. Trying to break it down to parts the best as I can. But it's like I'm on part. It's more. This right here. This is the part of being black in the system. Okay, buddies. Just being black in America. Okay. At this point, the system has offered Kalief a plea deal if he admitted he did it, but he didn't do it. So he stood on 10 toes and was like, "Yeah, I'm not accepting a plea deal to plead guilty to something I didn't do." So let me break it down for you, so you can get a deeper understanding if you're still here. So it was like, if he pleads guilty to a crime he didn't do, he could have went home just and snap a finger, just like right there, right then. But this is a psychological. This is psychology part behind it right here. We want to get into it. So most people would break here, okay, buddies. But it's not. It's not. I promise you, it's not. It's not because they are weak. But it's because their brain is exhausted at this point. You've been here for how long inside confinement, and now you're finally getting the chance to go home. But if you plead guilty to a crime you didn't do, so he didn't do that. But yeah, not everyone is weak, but some people are just, their brains are just mentally exhausted. So let's keep going here. Let's keep going. This is better yet known as coercive decision making under trauma, but Kalief refused. He said these exact words, quote, "I didn't do it. I was not going to say I did something I didn't do just to go home." Well, I'm back with this. Well, we're back with the psychological part of it. Here it is. Psychologically, this is called moral resistance. Okay, moral resistance. I'm saying resistance if you don't understand. I don't know how to say the letter R for some reason, but it's moral. This is called moral resistance. Wait, and one more thing. Well, while it shows strengths, you're standing up for yourself. It comes at a very high cost. Simply because you resist a system designed to crush resistance. Okay, it's literally designed. Well, you're not supposed to resist prison. It's designed to crush resistance, but yet you're holding yourself firmly that you did not do something. And then get this, bro. With no surprise to anyone, the pressure intensifies. Part 5, Kalief's relief. Kalief was finally released from prison, and people thought the nightmare was over, but yet it was really, honestly, just beginning. But trauma doesn't end when doors open. You can honestly say that, like, his trauma just, the doors open and it released a new trauma. How about we can say that? One thing that really stood out that his mom, as a parent, you see these things. I'm not a parent, but my dad shows some of these things all the time. I don't even think he paying attention, but for some reason he knows these. But as a mom, she said she witnessed her son just pacing around the garage corner, just all four walls, just walking back and forth like a dog that has been in, like an animal like an animal that's in confinement. And her exact words, I think, close enough. I think that was her That was her metaphorically saying it. But this, which you can say, it was like a person that has been institutionalized. We can say this stuff. We know this for certain. His brain had adapted to confinement. So he was not. His brain was unfamiliar with freedom. And I was right. His mom did compare it to a dog pacing in his or her cage. So this what Kalief is going through. This is called carceral PTSD. These symptoms include. Let me make sure it's alright. So it's gonna be a cut right here. Hypervigilance, paranoia, emotional flattening, and the inability to feel safe. The prison system followed him home in his nervous system, which is scary. Welcome to part 6, bro. Institutional betrayal. So no apology came, okay, buddies. Not from Rikers, not from the institution, not from the New York Police Department. Nobody decided to apologize. When we get close to the end, I'm gonna tell you what it was all about. I don't think I told you what it was about yet, but we're getting close to the end, so I'm gonna tell you guys what it's about in 10 to 15 minutes. Not from the system that kept him locked up without a trial. For that reasoning, that should not have never happened. But hey, it is what it is. Well, it's not what it is, but it happened, and it should not have happened. This is institutional betrayal trauma, buddies. System that is meant to protect causes harm and denies the responsibilities. The psychological wounds begins to open, and the I guess you can say the response is that, like, you don't matter. Well, that's the message from the New York and Rikers at the time that it was given off, that you don't matter. And I know for certain Kalief brain internalized that, like, damn, so no one in the system cares at all. Shit, bro, like, what the fuck? Who do I turn to? You know, we talked about this in my criminal justice class. Like, when the community loses trust, and those that are supposed to serve and protect the police administration. So my teacher, he was the best teacher I've had so far, and this is only my first semester here, but he had a saying, well, we learned this: the community is the police, and the police is the community. But if you don't even if you can't trust the police, then really, do you really have a community? Part 7: deprivation, paranoia, and the return of fear. So life for Kalief after release, right? Mentally, he's not there at all. Like, he's not there. So he has became depressed, paranoid, and exhausted. Then came the worst trigger of it all. He was due back in court for new charges. I didn't even get. I was charged for the first charges I didn't even do. But yeah, he was due back in court for new charges, bro. New charges. Let's get into it. See, for a trauma survivor, bro, this isn't normal. Well, this isn't the best circumstances that can happen. But for a trauma survivor, this is what's going on right now. Let's get into it. This isn't paperwork. This is a threat of being re-traumatized. Let's look at it. Well, obviously we in the Kalief perspective here, but his brain did not see a court. Like his brain did not see a courtroom at all. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain. I'm almost certain of that. He's not here so I can, to ask him, but yeah, his brain did not. And I don't want to re-traumatize that, but his brain did not see a court. I'm for sure. His brain seen Rikers Island again. So we're gonna tackle this psychologically again, like as we're doing the whole time. Psychologically, this is called fear. This is called fear conditioning. And when the brain believes escape is impossible, it looks for one final way out. We know what that way out is. That's just I'm not able to say it because of YouTube, but you know what it is. It's the off of your body. I'm gonna say it like that. It's the off of your body. It's the ill yourself. It's the ill yourself. That's what your brain when your brain doesn't find a way out or can't find a way out. That's what the final resources is. And death is not about wanting to escape. It's about wanting the pain to stop. Years after his release, Kalief Browder ended up offing himself with an air conditioning cord in his home. He was only 22, man. He was only 22. I was 22 2 years ago. That means he was very close. He was only 22, bro. He was only 22. Well, his mother found him, but his death was not a sign of weakness at all. This wasn't failure. This was a system-induced collapse. Kalief mother said it's not one person, it's a system. And psychological, well, of course, this is psychology kind of here, so we're going to talk about the psychological part of it. And psychologically, she is right. Okay, trauma spreads outwards, and families suffer. Trauma spreads outwards, and families suffer. Communities, as I mentioned, communities suffer. Communities absorb it, and the cycle just continues to repeat itself. Someone has to say it, and I'm going to say it. Kalief Browder did not die because of sadness and stuff of that nature. He died because he was broken. He was literally just broken inside. And in all honesty, he died because the system was broken. That's really why he died here. And now, since we're at the closing, if you're still here, let me tell you what it was what all this was about. Psychology shows us something unexpected here. Let me use the right word, not unexpected, uncomfortable. So when you expose a young mind, again, a 16-year-old child at the time of his incarceration, when you expose a developing mind to what this young man went through, isolation, incarceration, fear, the list goes on. Yeah, fear, incarceration, isolation, deprivation, solitary confinement. It gets scary, and this is just the results of what happens to what you do to a growing mind of that nature. Again, I would like to highlight this guy was 16 years old. So let me tell you guys now if you're still here. I really hope you're still here because that was a very intriguing story. I'm sorry I'm cut all these cuts, but I'm doing it from my phone. I'm using CapCut. Obviously, that's what the cuts are for. You hear the word CapCut, so you know it's cuts. But yeah, let me explain it to you, okay, buddy? That's what all this was for. So I didn't explain what it was for, but I'm gonna explain it for what it was for now. So he was accused of stealing a backpack, bro. A backpack. And this man was sent to Rikers Island for stealing that backpack. Which later, after we found out, well, after they fully did the real investigation, he did not steal the backpack at all. And it was just like he was all the way across town. Time the backpack was quote unquote stolen. But yeah, he did not steal the backpack. So in reality, the system killed this guy because of an assumption, and he didn't even get full. As I mentioned through the whole 20 or so minutes in this video, he didn't get a full trial or treated fairly. This guy was 16. He's a young man, and he didn't do it. So what the hell? Why would I admit to something I didn't do either? Like that's just a waste of time. But yeah, so this highlights the coercion of the police department in New York, particularly Rikers Island. Well, he went to Rikers Island, but particularly New York. At this time, New York was just... This was 2015, 2016, but around this time, New York had an infamous problem of just locking people up just to lock them up, to increase their numbers of lockup. You can look that up. You can actually look this stuff up. Like I said, I go to a law school for this criminal justice stuff, but you can look that stuff up yourself, and you can tell. You can tell me. You can say it. You can verify it for yourself, because I'm not lying to you. But yeah, that's what they were doing at the time. They were doing mass incarcerations for little petty crimes. But this young man did not deserve to go to prison for years on end, and then come out and only be able to live for 2 years. The system is flawed, and there is no equal justice. We see it in 2025 as it is. If you have money, you can do what the hell you want. That's all it is. But yeah, that's the Kalief Browder story, and I hope you enjoy it. And I think I'm gonna do... So yeah, this is gonna be the new method here. Stories. Let's do a story Monday. Let's talk about the topic Wednesday. Yeah, let's do stories. Let's upload the stories Mondays and Wednesdays. Let's talk about the topic on Friday, and then we just go from there.